Today's topic, guys, we're going to talk about doe factories. Now, I've been asked about this so much. It's a very controversial topic, so let's dive into it. I'll give you guys my honest opinion about it. Now, I did make a video about this previously on my YouTube channel about roughly 2 years ago, so you can check that out if you search for it on YouTube. But the whole idea of a doe factory, or the appearance of a doe factory, is where you have too many does on your property and it pushes the bucks out. Reason behind this so-called situation is that you plant too much summer food. So I'd like to start by saying, what's the difference if you plant summer food or fall food? The food's there, it's high quality, it's palatable, and you're going to attract deer. So what is the difference if it's in the summer or if it's in the fall? I think the whole idea is bogus, and if you hear me out throughout this video, hopefully it gives you a better understanding of it. But the so-called problem is man-made. We create this appearance of a doe factory because we're doing habitat improvements on our property. There's a couple different scenarios where you can look at this. My old farm, huge wooded area, huge wooded properties. There was no ag, and when you start in that type of situation where you start doing habitat improvements, guys, you plant food, it's palatable, it's the only food in the property because you have closed canopy forest. What's going to happen? It's the best food in the area. It's going to attract a lot of wildlife and give you that appearance of a so-called doe factory because you have the only high quality food source in that area. Now shift gears to an agricultural setting to where you have hundreds and thousands of acres of ag with small patches of woods. Those deer have so many food sources available to them to where if you plant a food plot, you're not going to attract as many deer because the deer have so many options. They got, you know, you have open canopy, you have hedgerows, small patches of woods where you're getting sunlight to the edges of the woods, and you have lots of browse, and you have tons and tons and acres of soybeans where the deer have so many options to choose from. You're not going to concentrate them down to a little food plot, so you won't have the appearance of a doe factory. In a big woods setting, in my opinion, from deer hunting for 25 years and consulting on clients' properties for the past 4 to 5 years, is that in a big woods setting, your best option is to have larger food plots. That way, you know, the deer can space themselves out a little bit more and give them, the does, you know, a more comfortable feeling, because does, fawns, and doe family groups and such, they will cause pressure on themselves. You know, you ever see on a food plot where does kind of, you know, they jump up on hind legs, bat each other? Well, it's because there's so many, you know, does, they fight each other. But a doe is not pushing bucks away, you know, from your property. It just, I've never seen it, and it's just not, it just doesn't make sense. Now, another scenario to look at here is, you know, take an average square mile of property, okay? Typically, on average, that square mile can handle about 30 deer per square mile. That's what that habitat can hold as far as food availability to the deer. When you start getting a higher capacity of deer per square mile, then the habitat starts to decrease in food value because there's so many deer eating all the food. So again, in that situation, you know, if you're in that scenario, all of a sudden, here you are, we do habitat improvements, and you create this awesome palatable food source. You're attracting all those deer throughout that per square mile because you're the only one in the area doing habitat improvements. All of a sudden, you have an appearance of a doe factory. But again, it's very situational because it's all going to be different. Each area, you know, a few miles apart, 20 miles, different state, county, whatever, you're going to have different buck to doe ratios. So, and you're going to have big woods settings compared to agricultural settings. So what you attract to your property is situational, because what's the buck doe ratio in your property? No, you know, you don't know. So it's going to change per property. Also, to take this a step further, is when you start creating habitat improvements, again, it's a man-made appearance. If you didn't do anything to your property, you know, you're not going to see this effect. But to take it a step further, you start creating all this bedding that's close to food, because, you know, that's what this habitat improvement stuff's getting to. there's so many opinions out there and videos to teach you how to have a better hunting property. Well, now all of a sudden you have this high quality food source, meaning food plot. Then all of a sudden you start putting bedding close to food. Now you have all those does bedded close to food that's there ready to go to eat your food, and you have the appearance of a doe factory again. It's very situational. It's a man-made situation, but I've never seen does push bucks off a property. The old farm, again, huge wooded area, tons of does, tons of bucks. It's very controversial topic to talk about, and it's an appearance. You have a lot of does on your property, and it's just the appearance of seeing all those deer. It's something to talk about. It's something to make people afraid of. People love to overthink things. Just calm down and relax a little bit, guys. If you want to plant summer food, plant summer food. If you don't, nobody cares. It's very situational. Next step in this also is, should you plant summer food? Well, if you're looking to improve the health of the herd because you're in a big wood setting and you lack food value throughout that property, such as closed canopy, you have no woody browse, then you will see the biggest effect on planting summer food or having a food source year round, because there's nothing else for the deer to eat, so therefore you can improve their diet. If you're in an area such as ag areas where there's tons of food and you're planting a summer food plot, you're probably not going to benefit the deer herd very much because they have so much to eat. So then, yeah, you should probably focus on planting an attractive fall food source. Now, you can plant things such as buckwheat and stuff in the summer, just so you're improving the soil, so you're not having bare soil. So again, it's very situational. Nothing is the same. No two properties are the same. No two areas are the same. Just because one person tells you, do not plant summer food, you're going to have a doe factory. Well, okay, that may be the situation for that person or a very select few, but it doesn't relate to the entire world. So hopefully this gives you some clarity on the situation and my honest opinion on it. Will I always plant summer food? Well, again, it's very situational to that property. Big woods, ag settings, can I really improve the health of the herd, the size of the plots, and so forth? I discuss this with all my clients as well when they want to know my opinion about it. Sometimes I recommend summer food, sometimes I do not. It's very situational. And if you guys want to learn more habitat improvements, give this video a watch right here. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet.